Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve exercise 5.5. The chapter we are discussing it is CPV, cost profit volume analysis, and we have already discussed several associate things, and I would like to repeat all those 8 factors at once so that we can have better understanding towards this chapter. The very first thing which we have discussed, let me actually settle down the fonts. The very first thing which we will have to see is your fixed cost. Fixed cost means if you are working for less number of hours or you are working for more number of hours, that cost will never be altered. It would be called fixed cost. If you are working for one day or you are working for 15 days, cost will be same. If uh, like 100 workers are working in your factory, or 1,000 workers are working in your factory, but that kind of cost would be fixed. The example which we have taken was rent of the factory. This was the first element which we have discussed, and then we have seen variable FH or variable cost, the cost which will be altered according to level of production. If you will increase your level of production, this cost will increase. If you will decrease the level of production, this cost will be decreased. That example which we have discussed was electricity bill. You will increase your sale, you will increase your number of workers, you will increase your level of production, you will increase your uh, hours to be worked in the factory, electricity bill will be increased. And let's say you have taken off, no worker is present, no machinery is being operated, your electricity bill will be decreased. This is your variable cost. And then you have seen how to calculate your total cost. When you will add your fixed and variable cost, you will get your total cost. And then you have seen your contribution margin. And how do you calculate it? By subtracting your variable cost from sales. Simple is this. By subtracting your variable cost from sales, you will get your contribution margin. And then we have discussed contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio would be calculated by dividing your contribution margin over sales. This way you will get your contribution margin ratio, and per unit contribution margin. How do you calculate? You will have to focus upon this contribution margin as a whole. You subtract variable cost from the sale. Same we will be doing over here as well. You will you will subtract your sales and minus variable cost. Same, but what you will do, as you are calculating it per unit, so you will choose per unit sales and per unit variable cost. That's all. Per unit sales, and you will subtract per unit variable cost. This way you will calculate your per unit contribution margin, and then you have seen your break even point in terms of units. So when you want to calculate your break even point in terms of units, you will divide fixed cost. Your fixed cost would be divided by per unit CM. This way you will be able to calculate break even units, and then you have break even point in terms of dollar or amounts. Dollar or amount. How would you calculate it? By dividing your fixed cost with CM ratio. And how this CM ratio would come? As you have seen, contribution margin ratio is written over here the same. Due to less space available over here, we have written CM for contribution margin. So initially you will calculate contribution margin ratio like this: contribution margin divided by sales. Same ratio you will write over here. So fixed cost will be divided by CM ratio, with which break even point in terms of amount you can calculate. Alright guys, these were 7-8 points very important for every question you will solve here in this chapter. So now we are going to start our 5.5, where I'm very hopeful everything is visible clearly. Let me make little more better size so that you can have view. Okay, now read it out. Your selling price again is divided into two parts. First column, which is present over here, is per unit, and then you have your percent. Percent is not very important for our question, so you will focus upon here per unit. Now you do know, whenever you want to calculate your total amount, I will ask you same question. Please make your mind how do you calculate your total amount. And let's see what is his requirement. Fixed expenses are as usual given. Let's make our contribution margin income statement. That would be exactly same which we were already making. Here you will make contribution margin income statement, and let me know the first part. This is your income statement. Where it was? Income contribution margin income statement. All right. So how do you make? The first step is to write down sales. Then you will subtract your variable cost. You will get contribution margin, and then you will subtract your fixed costs, after which you will get your net margin. Alright, this would be your answer, and here there would be your answer. So this way you can calculate income statement according to contribution margin statement way. Now what else we can do is, let's see our questions way of solving. Selling price is given over here. This is per unit selling price, that is 75. Let's go back little more downward. Actually both factors are not visible at the same time, so we'll have to adjust it. Your sale price, read over here, fixed expenses are 75,000 per month. So here are your fixed expenses, and you are going to write fixed expenses as 75,000 over here. All right, then next is selling 3,000 units per month. You will write sale over here as units are given, and you the question, I remember I was saying that you will be asked a question how to calculate your total amount. Total amount would be calculated by multiplying units into per unit. As you can see that whenever you want to calculate your per unit, how do you calculate? In CGS chapter, in LIFO FIFO chapter, you have seen per unit calculation will be when you will have amount and will divide it by units. You will get per unit. And now next step, to calculate your amount. Units are divided over here on right side of is equal to. When you will take these units to the left side, anything which is divided right side, you will, if you are taking it to the left side, it would be multiplied. So you will get per unit, and that would be multiplied by units, with which you will get your amount. Same thing we are discussing over here. Sale is given but amount has not been provided. What is given is number of unit 3,000, and per unit is also given. So look at this, focus upon here. 3000 number of units are given and sale price is given as per unit. You can see over here per unit is given. So we will apply this formula. Units will be multiplied by per unit. I will write over here 3000 are number of units and you need to multiply it with per unit sale price, which is 75. So statement is completed. You can now write your sale price here. For this 3000 number of units are being multiplied by 75. Amount of sale has been arrived. So hopefully you people have understood what we have done. Look at here. Fixed expenses were 75,000 and company is selling 3000 units. So we have chosen this formula, units multiplied by per unit. Units were 3000, we have written 3000 and it is being multiplied by per unit selling price, that was 75. So problem has been sorted out. We have completed amount of sales over here. It's time to see what else is given in our question. Variable cost. Next requirement of this statement is to calculate your variable cost. Again, come over here, variable expenses 45 per unit is given. Variable expenses 45 per unit. We will apply the same formula, units will be multiplied by per unit. So how many number of units? Obviously 3000 units are given in the question and you need to multiply it with variable expenses, that is 45 per unit. Right over here, it's time to calculate its amount, 3000, and that is multiplied by 45. So this way you have calculated your variable cost as well. Right now what we are doing, we are just going to complete our contribution margin income statement. Same statement was written in third question, in first question, in fourth question, and same contribution margin statement is being written over here. Nothing is different. Only difference in this question, amount of sale was not given, amount of variable cost was not given directly. And what we have done, we have used this very simple formula to calculate the amount. Units multiplied by per unit, with which you have calculated your sales, with which you have calculated your variable cost. So it's time to calculate your contribution margin. Formula we have already in our mind. By subtracting variable cost from sales, we will get contribution margin. And here this is formula. Contribution margin is calculated by subtracting variable expenses from sales. So what you would do, sales amount is 2,25,000 and you will subtract its variable cost, which was 1,35,000. So contribution margin is being calculated. Okay, and last step is to calculate our net margin. For net margin, what you will do, you will subtract your fixed cost from contribution margin. Look at here, fixed cost is to be subtracted. So your contribution margin was 90,000 and you are going to subtract your fixed cost, which was 75,000. This way you have calculated your contribution margin. So over here you can see your answer. Simple contribution margin has arrived, that is 15,000. Now there is a twist. Here a BBA student will learn the purpose of doing BBA. As we are well familiar with the concept that purpose of our study is to become a better manager, is to become a good decision maker. So you will be making a decision, and for that, what is your target, what is your challenge is written over here. The manager believes that 8,000 increase in monthly advertising. Look, people just blindly trust if you will increase your advertisement, if you will increase your publicity, your sale will increase. But that would not be happening always. You will have to be very conscious. You will have to think about that and then you will make decisions. So as a BBA student, this is a first scene which had come over here to take the decision. Your challenge is you are going to increase your monthly budget of advertising or marketing. $8,000 is needed to increase, but you believe that by advertising you can increase your sales up to $15,000. Apparently, it looks very good. By spending $8,000, if you are getting $15,000, so that would be a good step. Let's say we accept it. By advertising this much amount, you can get 15,000. Question is, should the advertising budget be increased? It means he's asking you this question. If by increase in advertising of 8,000, sale is increasing 15,000. Should we accept it? Obviously, majority of you will be saying yes, we should accept it. But we will apply it upon this statement and will decide accordingly. Here was your first statement, which you have calculated over here, and that is completed. So we are marking it as it is a completed statement. Beside that, we will go and will make another statement for first part. Alright, and for this, what you will do, you will be doing the same thing again. The very first thing which you have noticed is the marketing manager believes 8,000 increase in monthly advertising. It means continuously after every month 8,000 would be increased. This is your fixed expense. Initial fixed expense was 75,000. Please focus. Initial expense was 75,000 and now 15,000 would also be included in this fixed expense. Sorry, 8,000, budget of 8,000. Okay, now focus again. Advertising budget 8,000 per month. It means after every month you will be spending 8,000. It means your fixed expenses will be increased from 75,000. When you will add 8,000, your fixed expenses will become 83,000. This is your first portion to be sorted out. Your fixed cost has been increased, and by increasing fixed cost, what would be the effect? There will be an increase in your sales. How much sale will increase? Here second line, read it. Monthly sale would be increased by 15,000. Alright. Old sale was 2,25,000, and by increasing advertisement your sale will increase by 15,000. So what will happen? Old sale 225,000. You will add the increase, and in this way your sale will increase from 225 to 240. Up till now it looks very attractive. By adding just 8,000 you are increasing your income by 15,000. Up till now decision is very smooth, you should go for that. But now what will happen if you will increase your sale? Look at that. If you will increase your sale, we have discussed it, variable cost will also be increased. Increase in sale mean increase in level of production, increase in level of working. That means increase in use of electricity, increase of depreciation. So variable cost would also be increased. But how? For that, I will give you a formula, though there is no formula for this, but I'm writing just to make you a little more comfortable. So what you will do, old VC, old variable cost, you will divide it with old sales, put bracket, and then you will multiply it by new sales. So what I was saying, there is no formula like that in management accounting. But I'm just giving you this formula just for your comfort. You will not have to use your brain without without pressurizing your brain. What you will do, you will apply this formula and will get the new variable cost. Okay. This formula will be used to calculate new variable cost. Okay, let me write it. This formula will be used to calculate new variable cost. Okay, how we can calculate it? We will take old VC. So come over here and take old variable cost, which is 1,35,000, put over here, and then you are in need to divide it by old sales. Look, old sale was 225,000, put over here, and then you need to put the bracket on both sides. Same you will write on your scientific calculator, and then you will be dividing it with the, you will be multiplying it with new sales. It is okay. I will show you the formula which we have derived is what? Old variable cost would be divided by old sales. We have already written old variable cost is divided by old sales, and then you will multiply by new sale. New sale is 2,40,000. So put 2,40,000 over here. Please take a screenshot over here, note it down, and you will come to know how we have calculated our new variable cost. Look at here. So this way new variable cost has arrived. Everything has been completed, and now we are going to calculate our contribution and net margin. How do you calculate your contribution margin? Hopefully some of you will answer that, subtracting variable cost from sales. So here amount of sale was 240,000, and you are going to subtract your variable cost, which was 1,44,000. So your contribution margin has arrived. And next step is to calculate your net margin. I will let you see original statement as well so that you can understand what we are doing. Okay. Next step is to calculate your net margin. You can see over here fixed cost is being subtracted from contribution margin. You will get your net margin. Your contribution margin was 96,000, and you will subtract your fixed cost 83,000. This way you have calculated your contribution margin, which is 13,000. In this way you can see second answer is also been written by hand, 13,000. First part is completed. The main theme of this question was to calculate your variable cost due to increase in sales. Please keep it in mind, and we are doing it again and again and again for so many times in this chapter. So I'm very hopeful that you will be understanding it properly. First decision, now make your decision. Without advertising, we were getting net margin 15,000. And after advertising, though our sale has been increased, we accept it. But your net margin had become 13,000. Look at the volume of this question. Just two, three, four lines you have written, with which you are able to decide. As a manager, you will not going to solve larger and bigger questions. As a BBA student, you will solve very small sized questions with which you will be able to decide. Decision maker is the main target of BBA students. So come over here. Without advertisement, you were getting or earning $15,000, and after advertisement you are getting only $13,000. So your decision will go to what? You will decide we are not going, not. You will be deciding that this is not a fruitful decision. We are not going to take decision which was asked over here. Should the advertising budget be increased? So what we will say, no, because our level of income has been decreased. First part is completed over here, and what we will do, we will be marking it as completed, and I am taking the same headings for making the next statement as well. Refer the original data. It means what you will do, this was your original data where everything was taken as given in the question, and his requirement is to take original data. It's easy for me what I have done. I have taken copy from the original data, but you will have to write it again. So what is next requirement? He is saying refer to original data. Management is considering using high quality components that would increase variable cost by 3. Very interesting decision. Now again you will have to decide something, and what would be your decision? You want to increase your variable cost by 3. Why you are increasing? Because this way the quality of your product will be increased. If quality would be increased, demand of that product will be increased, and your level of sale would also be increased. It could be profitable. But again, we will not believe blindly, as we have seen 8,000 increase was causing 15,000 increase in sales. So we didn't trust it blindly. We have calculated and decided no, it was not a fruitful decision. In the same manner, here it has been said you will increase your quality, with which variable cost would be increased by 3. When your quality would be in better position, public will or your customer will trust more and they will buy more. In this way your sale would be increased. Okay, up till now it looks attractive. Marketing manager believes that higher quality product will increase 15% per month. That means your sale will be increased. Again, it's an attractive procedure. By putting just 3 per unit to variable cost, you can increase your sale by 15%. Should high quality components be used? Now we will prove it by using this income statement, contribution margin income statement. We will see that whether our profit would be increased or not. The very first thing is variable cost is increased by 3 per unit. Look over here. Your variable cost per unit was 45. It was given in your question. Here variable expenses was 45 per unit, and we have posted the same 45 per unit over here. In second part, you are needed to increase by 3. Okay, when variable cost would be increased by 3, then what you will do, 45 plus 3, it would become 48. Okay, we will choose this column. If variable cost is increased by 3, so how it would be increased? 45 plus 3, it would become 48. Okay, we have just noted it down. Then what will happen? Marketing manager believes that the higher quality product increase sales by 15%. Look at this. Initially he was selling 3000 units. As you are the owner or you are the manager, you were selling 3000 number of units. If sale will be increased 15%, how many number of units would be sold? We can calculate over here. It's very simple thing. Your old sold units were 3000, and now increase is 15%. And how would you calculate this 15%? Simple is this 15%. First we should write, and how it would be calculated? 3000 would be multiplied by 15 and divided by 100. Calculate over here. 3000 multiplied by 15 divided by 100. So there will be an increase of 450 units. So old units he was selling 3000. There will be an increase for 450. So how many new units would be sold out? You were selling 3000 number of units, and now 450 more number of units. Finally, how many units would be sold? 3000 plus 450. So total number of units would be sold 3450. Come over here. Your variable cost has been increased, but due to which your number of units would also be increased. Instead of 3000, now you will be selling 3450 number of units, and you will multiply to get your variable cost. Let's calculate it. 3450, it would be multiplied by 48, and this way you will calculate what is happening. 3450, it would be multiplied by 48. So new variable cost is 1,65,600. In the similar way, you will change your level of sale as well, and how it would be changed, for that you will come over here. Okay, sale price is 75, we accept, but here we have calculated number of units sold would be increased from 3000 to 3450. So you will calculate your new sales 3450 new number of units, and it would be multiplied by sale price is 75. Please note it down. Your new sale price would be arrived over here 3450, and it would be multiplied by 75. Okay, new sale has been arrived, new variable cost has been arrived. It's time to calculate your contribution margin, and I'm very hopeful that you are well familiar with the formula of contribution margin. You will subtract your variable cost from sales. Amount of sale was 258750, and you will subtract your variable cost, which is 165600. This way your contribution margin has been calculated. Now what will happen for fixed cost? We have decided it. If you are selling 3000 number of unit, or you are selling 3450 unit, or even less number of unit, you are working for one day or you are working for full month, your fixed cost will not be altered. That fixed cost would be same 75,000 as usual. So it means same 75,000, as fixed means fixed cost would not be altered. So now it's time to calculate our net margin. And how do you calculate net margin? By subtracting your fixed cost from contribution margin. Your contribution margin is 93150, and you will subtract your fixed cost, which is 75,000, and here you have got your net margin as. Alright, dear guys, you have seen that in second part there were two answers, 15,000 and 18,150. 15,000 first answer, 18,150 second answer. Now let us decide as a manager of that organization whether you will be accepting this decision or not. We were asked if you will increase your variable cost by 3 to increase the quality of the product, you will get 15% increase in sales. Okay, 15% of increase in sale we accepted. And finally, due to increase in this quality, your demand has been increased, and due to increase in demand, your net margin had become 18,150 instead of 15,000. And since our net margin has been increased, so we are very much welcoming this decision. As a bank, as a organizational manager, we will definitely be with this step, and we are accepting it. We are saying yes. Previously we have said no. By increasing advertisement we were facing loss. There in this part you have increased your advertising, though your sale has been increased from 225 to 240, but finally you were facing loss. So you rejected this proposal of increase in advertisement. Here increase in quality, you have increased your quality by increasing your variable cost, and finally you were getting profit. So for this option you will say yes, And for first option, you will write down over here no. As a manager, you will reject this proposal of increase in advertisement. As a manager, you will accept this proposal of increase in quality. So these are different aspects of managerial accounting where you will face several situations and you will not be solving large or bigger questions. You will be solving a very small statements with which you can decide. This was our question 5.5 and we have seen it. There were two portions, 1 and 2, and we have solved all four portions. 13,000, this was your answer over here, and 18,150, this was your answer. Hopefully you people have, maybe some of you have enjoyed as I enjoyed my work, because when you are learning new thing, when you are improving your skill, it's enjoyable thing. Even then, I'm very open. I'm just requesting you, if you have any query, if you have any question, you may ask directly, you may message, text, or contact. I will surely be available to solve every query you will arise. For the time being, our question has been completed and we'll surely be meeting for solution of any other question. Up till then, please take care, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.